it will come, the day that I know I'm in love. Will it feel warm and dry like a kiss in July? Will it chill down my bones? Will it cool like the snow? And I look at my window to see what the universe has in store for me. People passing by in the street will be smiling at me, 'cause they already know what it's like being in love. The sky starts to roll up its clouds, so the sun can't just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. So every night I stare at the moon just to check if she's still looking blue. Don't know who you are yet, you seem a bit hard to get, but I know you're out there. I just wait for the day where the sky will spread open its clouds, so the sun can just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. And I spot you right across the street, like a song that is playing just for me. You know, and we'll smile as if we knew all this time I was waiting for you. I know sooner or later it will come, the day that I know I'm in love. Will it feel warm and dry like a kiss in July? Will it chill down my bones? Will it cool like the snow? And I look at my window to see what the universe has in store for me. People passing by in the street will be smiling at me, 'cause they already know what it's like being in love. The sky starts to roll up its clouds, so the sun can't just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. So every night I stare at the moon just to check if she's still looking blue. Don't know who you are yet, you seem a bit hard to get, but I know you're out there. I just wait for the day where the sky will spread open its clouds, so the sun can just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. And I spot you right across the street, like a song that is playing just just for me. We'll know and we'll smile as if we knew. All this time I was waiting for you. I know sooner or later it will come, the day that I know I'm in love. Will it feel warm and dry like a kiss in July? Will it chill down my bones? Will it cool like the snow? And I look at my window to see what the universe has in store for me. People passing by in the street will be smiling at me, 'cause they already know what it's like being in love. The sky starts to roll up its clouds, so the sun can't just stop hiding out. Spreading wings. So every night I stare at the moon, just to check if she's still looking blue. Don't know who you are yet, you seem a bit hard to get, but I know you're out there. I just wait for the day where the sky will spread open its clouds, so the sun can just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. And I spot you right across the street, like a song that is playing just for me. We'll know and we'll smile as if we knew. All this time I was waiting for you. I know sooner or later it will come, the day that I know I'm in love. Will it feel warm and dry like a kiss in July? Will it chill down my bones? Will it cool like the snow? And I look at my window to see what the universe has in store for me. People passing by in the street will be smiling at me, 'cause they already know what it's like being in love. The sky starts to roll up its clouds, so the sun can't just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. So every night I stare at the moon, just to check if she's still looking blue. Don't know who you are yet, you seem a bit hard to get, but I know you're out there. I just wait for the day where the sky will spread open its clouds, so the sun can just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. And I spot you right across the street, like the song that is playing just for me. We'll know and we'll smile as if we knew. All this time I was waiting for you. I know sooner or later it will come, the day that I know I'm in love. Will it feel warm and dry like a kiss in July? Will it chill down my bones? Will it cool like the snow? And I look at my window to see what the universe has in store for me. People passing by in the street will be smiling at me, 'cause they already know what it's like being in love. The sky starts to roll up its clouds, so the sun can't just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. So every night I stare at the moon, just to check if she's still looking blue. Don't know who you are yet, you seem a bit hard to get, but I know you're out there. I just wait for the day where the sky will spread open its clouds, so the sun can just stop hiding out. The windows will open and sing like birds that are spreading their wings. And I spot you right across the street, like a song that is playing just for me. We'll know and we'll smile as if we knew. All this time I was waiting for you. And I don't wanna be lonely when winter is freezing and trees start to bolt. And I don't wanna be sitting alone in a room that's just filled with my soul. And so I came to this place, I'm looking for a familiar face, and that's when I saw you. 'Cause you don't know me and I don't know you, but it breaks my heart. You're looking so so blue on the last of the year. I just picked your name on the coffee cup. With a stroke of luck, the guy just messed up and gave your cup to me. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. I saw us wrapping our cups, and after a while, we swapping a glance. And I can't think nothing better than started a year with a drop of romance. 'Cause I came to this place looking for a familiar face, and that's when I met you. 'Cause you don't know me and I don't know you, but it breaks my heart. You're looking so blue on the first of the year. I just picked your name on the coffee cup. With a stroke of luck, the guy just messed up and gave your cup to me. Dark cappuccino is what matters me. The way you came toward me, dragging your feet, and I just smiled at you. I don't wanna be lonely when winter is freezing and trees start to bolt. And I don't wanna be sitting alone in a room that's just filled with my soul. And so I came to this place, I'm looking for a familiar face, and that's when I saw you. 'Cause you don't know me and I don't know you, but it breaks my heart. You're looking so blue on the last of the year. I just picked your name on the coffee cup. With a stroke of luck, the guy just messed up and gave your cup to me. Swapping our cups, and after a while, we're swapping a glance. And I can't think nothing better than started a year with a drop of romance. 'Cause I came to this place looking for a familiar face, and that's when I met you. 'Cause you don't know me and I don't know you, but it breaks my heart. You're looking so blue on the first of the year. I just picked your name on the coffee cup. With a stroke of luck, the guy just messed up and gave your cup to me. Dark cappuccino is what matters me. The way you came toward me, dragging your feet, and I just smiled.